Alright, this is Andrew Jolly with Jota Home Inspections. We're here today at 868 East, 100 North in Spanish Fork. It's August 8th, and we're doing a sewer scope. We've got the camera pushed all the way out as far as we can get it. I think we're at the main city line, but it's kind of an odd looking connection. I think what might be going on is this is the nose on, where it goes into the city line, and it's dropping right into the top of the line. It's not an angle that I see a lot, and so it's hard to see. For one, I can't get past this spot, but when I was able to push back another couple inches when I was running water, I could see a larger line below it, and so I'm pretty positive this is the main line. And then also based on the distance out, we're 104 feet out, and that's about the average for a lateral sewer line. So we're going to pull it back now and record it and see what we find. So there's a combination of a bunch of different types of pipe here. You have some clay line, which is what we're seeing on the screen now. Clay comes in about 3 to 4 foot sections, and one of the downsides with clay is that these sections can settle, and then you can get flat spots and bellies. They can also separate, and then you can get offsets at the joints. So far it's looking good. I'm not seeing any standing water, and so that means that you have proper grade. Doesn't look like you have anything settling too much. A little bit of an offset right there where it you can see as my camera goes down how it hits that. That's a spot where solids can catch, and that can cause a backup. And then if you look at the top left of the screen, you can see that round thing. That's a tree root or some sort of a root that's gotten into the line. It's typical for them to come in around joints, but that's something that you want to have maintained. Once you have roots, you're always going to have them. There's a bunch more right there on the left. Once you have roots, you're always going to have them, and you want to have them cleaned out so that it doesn't allow a backup. It's hard to say how often you'll have to do that. Some people go several years once they have them, and they grow really slowly. Other ones grow a lot quicker, and they're getting it done, twice a year. Something you just want to keep up on and maintain. So this is a section of newer pipe. Looks like it's PVC. I don't think that it's a liner because I don't see any writing on it. Liners exist that you can put inside of the old line, and that makes it so that you don't actually have to dig up the old pipe and replace it. You just blow a new piece in. They can be cheaper than having to dig up the line. They're still pretty costly though. And then we're transitioning to cast iron here. Cast iron's going to be one of your weaker links on this lateral line. The downside with cast iron is that you get rust that builds up, and it gets really sharp edges on it, and then solids can catch on that, and toilet paper can catch on that, and that can allow it to back up. Also, that rust can cover up cracks. It's common for cast iron to get cracks, and then it can collapse. Cast iron will always eventually need to be replaced. This house being from the 50s, it's in that range to where you could have an issue with it any time. It's performing the way that it should. It's raining well today. Not seeing standing water. I haven't seen any cracks yet. But again, one of the other downsides with cast iron is that it gets really thin, and that cast iron starts to flake. And there's no way to tell, looking at the inside of the pipe, how thin it is. I've seen lines that when they dig them up, you can press your thumb through them because they're so thin. And so it's a pipe that, like I said, will eventually need to be replaced, but it's just a guess at when that's going to be. I've seen houses from the 20s that still have original casts, but I've seen houses newer than this that have had to replace it already. Some build up right there on the left. Can't tell what that is. It's making it get caught right there. But again, anything like this is a spot where other solids can catch, and then once it catches, it can start to build up until it backs up. I accessed this today through a vent on the roof, the main stack. So just to recap, there's several types of pipe. You have cast iron, which can cause a backup and will eventually need to be replaced. You have clay, which has its own set of issues that it can have. This one looked like it had good grade all the way out. You do have some tree roots. That's a maintenance item that you want to have cleaned so that prevents the backup. And then it's going to need to be cleaned again in the future to prevent those roots from coming back and getting too big. So I'm going to end this recording now.